Hey guys, welcome. It appears that Don was first and Keith was second, both of them within the last 2 minutes before the stream started. I invited Ken. He is not available yet. He might show up a little bit later. So we're going to press on. Matter of fact, let me play with this one a little bit. Yeah, more to the tram, not to the fat guy. Okay, let me switch. So this is what we're going to work on today. We're going to work on the side. I'm not positive yet everything we're going to do, but I've got a pretty good idea. Last Tuesday, we had cut these pieces, and I was just looking at the cable car pictures, and it kind of surprises me because it seems to me that that's one heck of a step up from there to there. But that's how it's set up. Got one of these. I need to find the other one. Where is it? Somebody say over there so I can find it. There it is. Can't watch this. Got a starship in this space coasting. I see, Howard. How's it going, Howard? So first thing I need to do is measure this and then cut it, because these on the in the plans for this, these do actually overhang a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on and then make them meet the front edge. So this is almost exactly 11.5 millimeters. I've done a little bit of rearranging on the shop again. I bought a new box to keep things in, to keep things organized. You can see it right here. Right here. It's got knives, tools in these two drawers, and then all the little victory planks in here. It'll probably fit the large victory as well. Apollo, hi buddy. I don't know if you guys are going to see him as he walks by. What? Apollo has a drinking problem. He drinks water and it goes down the wrong pipe. So let's cut it. Actually, before I cut, measure twice, cut once. That is just exactly the right length. So that means I'm going to cut it just a hair longer so that I don't miss. Okay, so that should be good. Truthfully, truth be told, I should be able to cut 4 of those and then be each correct. No, don't grab the bottom. So that one's good. Okay. That length will be good for all 4 of them. So I'm going to cut them. Use this first one as a template. Grab my chisel blade and cut the others. So there's a third one about to be cut. This is why I knew I was going to need 2 of these full strips. Yes, somewhere over the Pacific, though the Pez dispenser door didn't open, so no dummy payload deployed, but they're going to relight and fire, and then fire entry and landing someplace near Australia. So I'm picking up on what you're saying, Howard, and I don't pay attention to the news a whole lot, but it sounds like Starship is in trouble from SpaceX. I would bring up YouTube, but then I'd be watching YouTube while I'm supposed to be on YouTube. So I'd like to lay this on it. Hey, Kenneth, welcome. Man, you're on your 30-minute lunch break. That's cool. Okay. Where is it? There it is. Anytime I clean up in here, I have to figure out where I put stuff. Let's see. That will fit between those. When I glue things, I prefer, if I can, will it fit? Okay. If I can, I prefer to I prefer gluing things pointing down. So, almost not quite ready for prime time. I'm going to try something. It has worked well for me in the past, and I've even told people this. A lot of times on planking, I like to use glue stick. This purple stuff is great because you can tell exactly where it's at. Ah, it's having issues. Okay. Well, I hope they don't screw up the state's almost perfect record. We haven't lost many astronauts after liftoff. Used to be any, but then things happened. So let me hold that in place. Hey, Stephen Haynes, welcome. Call 911, cable car accident in Illinois. Absolutely. Had it flip over on its side. And the nice thing about this, if it is going to stick, is that I can look at it from the side and see exactly what it's going to look like. And the glue stick lets me reposition it for a little while at least. So hopefully that will stay in place. The ones that go on top of it, I will put in place with actual glue. But the first time I ever did any planking on anything, and I think it was a stern wheeler from Mini Mamoli. It was tiny. But this is how I started it. Started doing the planking, and it worked well for me, so I've kind of continued on with it. I've used super glue before. I don't like using super glue for it because super glue will soak right through. No people on Starship yet. This is a test vehicle. Okay. Bad, but not terribly, or not as bad as it could be. Okay, this one is sticking up. And so is this one. There's the problem with using any glue on thin wood strip like this, is it is peeling up. That's not going to work. Yeah, as it dries, it's coming loose. And you can tell that because the purple has gone away. This one is not in place. We'll take that one back off as well. Wow. Been a while since I've used this one. It's clogged. So let's try this again using wood glue. Might have to tape it down. That's something else I will do a lot of here lately is, like, these windows are not glued in. I used double-sided tape to put them in. Not planning on doing that yet. But if it insists on not working, then that's what I may have to do. Beauty of double-sided tape is that once it's in place, it stays there. So let's set this on top of here. See. I'm going to glue these in as I go. Something let loose inside that made them lose attitude control, like an airplane out of control during a barrel roll. And Don says, I wouldn't recommend using glue stick. Could be absorbed into the wood. It is actually absorbed into the wood, and that's what's causing my problem right now, is it soaked through or soaked in and then gave up. The plan is I'm going to put these two in place like that. Hopefully they will stay together like that. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Pause or muted for a second there so I could turn on a fan over there because it is hot in here tonight. I've got a slight seam here, which is actually good. Missed Donnie's stream again last night. I was playing Fallout New Vegas again. I'm getting myself out of the Big Mountain DLC. Figured out why I stopped playing Fallout New Vegas a few years ago, because I was stuck for a little bit on there. Okay, nothing in the way there. Just move that box. Turn this a little bit. Maybe turn the camera a little bit. Oh, wow. Is that glue? No, it looks like pen. Something on here, yellow on these points there. And Donnie chimes in, oh, well, I'm going to go play Fallout later then. Sorry, Donnie. Still not that into minis, man. And if you go play Fallout, good on you. I'm okay with that. Yesterday was actually a marathon session. You're too late, Don. He's gone. He went to play Fallout. I honestly think that Wonderfest this week is going to be good because I think I'm a little bit burnt out on posting as much as I do. Still got to get caught up on the, or get started on the Iron Spider. I've got to finish my 4th video for the Constitution. First pack for me is taking, because I do most everything on screen, is taking 4 videos. Let's see. Donnie said, well, I'm not into wood, but here I am. So there's that. And Don says, come to the dark side, other Don. And Donnie says, but I can't see in the dark. But we have cookies on the dark side, Donnie. And cake. Considering that Todd's not going to have cake in the HTM room at Wonderfest. And I'll tell you, Don, I am working hard on converting Donnie. A couple of years ago, he wouldn't have touched a wood kit. Now he's doing book nooks. That's in response to that. Come on. That comment right there. How can I find the cookies if I can't see them? Donnie, not only do we have cookies, but we have flashlights. Notice I still need to do some touch-up paint down there. A little bit of touch-up. There's a lot of touch-ups that need to happen on here. Come on, let go. I bought this brush specifically so I can dust models. No, the cookies are not made of wood. We have real cookies. Unless Howard ate them all. Next one, put it on here. Once these are in place, I can go back and put the grab rails in place as well. Well, Todd said there'll be cookies on Friday. Oh, hang on. Just saw that. I slid this one too far. This is the bumper that's a little odd. I'd actually trim the front of the tram down or cable car down to get it to fit. So we're making Don hungry for cookies. Donnie says he has real models made of resin, and he's asking what time I'm getting to Wonderfest. I'm not positive. It depends on when I leave here. It's 3.5 hours. I'm thinking leaving around noon so that I can get there right around check-in time, 3:30. But I'm going to play it by ear. It depends on if Andrea needs anything before I take off. I don't expect she will. Man, that has a slight wobble, just a hair out of balance. I don't expect she will, but I want to give her every opportunity to let me know if she needs anything before I leave. Donnie said he's going to try and get there around 3 or 4. That's about when I'm planning on getting there. I'm bringing nothing but me. Might bring some clothes. Probably will. I think it's frowned upon going naked to Wonderfest. Maybe. This last 3 out of here. There is a spot there I need to hit with black paint before I do this. Alec is stuck at work, unfortunately. Looking forward to tomorrow. Same here. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow as well. Still not 100% positive what I'm going to do, but I'm guessing I will probably continue working on this. That's how far I am. I've got the framework, the initial framework for the victory section started or done. Yeah, I am aware that Louisville is an hour in front of me, ahead of me on time. So let me grab the black paint. Now, she looks good enough. Steven said hi to Alec, and I initialed the framework. I started the framework. I'm not sure what you mean by initialed. And Don's hull keeps breaking every time he looks at it. Because I still have to do a video on this, let me switch cameras. We'll bring this over. And I will tell you more than once, I put parts on here backwards. These parts here, I put on backwards. Didn't break anything, but man, I'll tell you what, those hanging ribs are a pain to get in place. And the only reason these clamps are here is to hold these things on. These ribs are pretty straight. These pieces will actually fall out of there. So that's okay, Don. You'll get it. I have confidence in you. Oh, the initial framework. Yes, it is the initial framework. Actually, I said it is the initial, not initial. No letters on there. But that's okay. Okay. I want a little brush. There we go. Like I said, there's a spot there, a little bit of a spot back here. Oh, that's actually dust. I've painted the dust. No, that, Alec, that is not the cutaway. That is the the section. There's only a slice of the victory. Dawn's is the Constitution cutaway. There's some sections around 1/32 of an inch. Ouch. Exactly, Keith. That is extremely thin. And yes, it gets its strength by adding the planking and decking, and they also get held in place by these little bars. These actually, you cut them to size. I still got to sand the sides of it. You cut these to size, glue them all the way across. You put a drop of super glue on every one of them, and then you put a drop of kicker so that they'll set up real fast. Yeah, 1/32 is almost a veneer. You know, a smart man would go through here while I've got the black paint and hit these spots that need it. Which is why I wasn't going to do it. Because a smart man would do that. Let me see if I can get. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to cover up. Actually, this side I already did. Turn it around. What I'm doing is I'm covering a little bit of the wood glue here, so that it's not so obvious. The wood glue is shiny. Lesson learned on something like this. Next time I will use super glue. It makes sense what Artisania Latina is doing on the Victory, because super glue is the only thing that's going to hold that quick. It's probably not the only thing, but it's the easiest way. Might come back later on with the gray paint, do the top. For cheap paintbrushes, these things work great. Okay, that's cleaned out. when I work on the model, I go through a ton of paper towels. Okay, next one. Of course, the other thing, when this is done, I think I'll have done a total of maybe an hour's worth of work, not either on camera or on a stream. So that's also part of the challenge of this kit. Because I decided to do it as much as possible on a stream or on a camera. When everybody hears you swearing tomorrow every other word, yeah, we'll know that we'll know you broke something, either a part of the model, or God forbid your garage again. Let's not have a repeat of that. Damn it. I was hoping I'd get away with that. I got my finger into the glue, and then the glue, it stuck to me, or the part stuck to me rather than the tram. I'm going to have to, okay. Put it in place, let it dry. That glue will scrape off tomorrow. So yeah, Don said, don't everybody hears him swearing every other word, we'll know he broke something. And Keith said, don't go full Todd on this. Oh, come on, full Todd is entertaining. Tree's almost completely gone, 2 loads on the truck and still some of it left. Hey, at least it didn't destroy the garage. And that will be something that you have, forever. Your claim to fame will be the first time you streamed, you dropped a tree on your house. Or on your garage, actually. Sounds better if we say it dropped on your house, though. Well, not really. It sounds more entertaining. Can I still move that? Might have to come back and trim just a little bit off of there. I just looked over, and Apollo was looking at what's on the table over there, because we give them chicken jerky for treats. And I talked to Andrea. We talked a little bit about it, and I said, we have a dehydrator, so we're trying just dehydrated chicken and see what they think of that. I like that. That looks really good. This one needs to go down a little bit if it can. Yeah, that's best it's going to get there. So now let's get these out that I made last week. Ken and I were talking along, and I just kind of kept on going and popped these out. There's one that's hanging down. I just saw one of these pieces in here. It's almost like I have put things in place now that I can find them. Oops. Now, there's one of these in here, and I was like, is that one missing? Watch it. Yeah, watch out for me, Don. I want to drop a tree on your house for entertainment. Well, you know, I have 3 in my backyard. Actually, knock on wood, that could fall. They're in good shape, so I hope not. And you're all right. It does look really good, and it's actually not stained on the benches. It looks like it is. But it's OcCre paint, I think. Hang on. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, because this dries that color, which that's a different type of wood. This is what I put on these. I might put this on. I might just put a varnish on there. It does look really good, I think. And at the same time, I'll have to do the poles. Ouch! Tree house nearby had one fall through the middle of the house. That is not good. Yeah, it should be. I should be able to just hit these with a paintbrush really slowly and carefully. Just looking. What have we got here? Oh, you know what? Is that? Ah. Don't shake it and then open it immediately. That is oak dye. And I have dyed myself. So yeah, I will stain those later on. Lots of stains. Hang on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Lots of stains on the streetcar benches. Maybe. Depends on who was there. Those trees around here are real trees, not those weeds they call palm trees. Yeah, I understand that. I got some of the same type of trees back behind my house. Not positive how tall they are, but I do know one of them is about 4.5 to 5 foot across. So yeah, I'm going to paint these after. I'm going to paint around these. Just trying to remember how to get these in here. That's right. They bend at the bottom, not at the top. Come on. How many can I knock off tonight? Okay. So let me see. There's the hole. So we're going to set this in here. about there because I still need to find my instructions. So the instructions say to cut one more about 15 millimeters long. I will glue them in this time, Donnie, after I get the top posts in. Very cool. Let's see. Hive dates cord turned off. Let me know when you post it. I'll bring it up on screen. I have things in that. I turned the camera a little bit. I really like this because everything's got a place. Okay. And my plan is I'm going to cut these about 15 millimeters and I'm going to see how tall they have to be to actually reach the ceiling. I hate that. Always got glue stuck in my fingers. Posted. Cool. It's about as straight as it's going to get. So I'm going to bring this up. That tree was huge. That thing was huge. And that's the thing too, is that it didn't look sickly at all. Like you said, I think you posted that the tree guy would have told you that the tree was fine. It was just rotten on the inside. So yeah, what did you say it was? I think you said it was 70 feet tall. Hang on, let me find this cord. Put that over here. So if we, oh, that's even better. So if we go with this is 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, that's a 70-foot tree. Smaller John Deere tractor. Regardless, that tree was huge. And you got lucky because you have that. Well, you got unlucky actually because it could have fallen over to the right and just missed everything. Yeah. Oaks are top heavy too. Yeah. Makes me worried about our tree because you've got a bigger area to the right of your house than we have between the houses. I happened to look outside and I saw Apollo. Howard is here mostly. Have to go get a cow. The poor girl got beat up by the boys. Oh, that's not good. That's never a good thing, Howard. Okay. And that is why I measure, because if I go with 15 millimeters, it's not going to be long enough. Didn't you say it was rotted some in the middle of the trunk? Ow. There. Cut myself the other day with a chisel blade, and it still hurts a little bit. Okay, so we're going to take this. We're going to go about 17 millimeters. Take an already busted set of snippers. Just some at the roots. Still, it was bad enough that the tree wasn't able to hold itself up. Okay, that's not quite long enough. Because I need to be able to file down both sides of it. Just heard our mail truck outside at almost 8 o'clock. I has a boo-boo, Donnie. What's funny is, if I remember right, I actually did that on screen. I talked about the fact that I should be careful with the chisel blade because I've had them break before. And about that time is when I broke the chisel blade. It snapped off and I dug it into my finger. What did he do with it? He made it into firewood. He sold it for firewood. That looks right. That looks right. So let's get a little bit of glue in here. Oh, I missed that comment. It roughed her up pretty bad. Another reason should have dehorned them, but too many things going on to get it done. So you're saying you have horny cows too? Is that what I'm hearing, Howard? Sorry, couldn't help myself. There they are. I was sitting here thinking to myself, where did I put the tweezers? Okay. So I'm going to dip that and that. Dip both ends into the glue. does lean in a little bit. If Todd was here, I'd still do this. Little bit of kicker in there. So hopefully it'll stay in place. And this is one of the tools that I got from Artesania Latina. This is awesome. This is what they use to apply super glue a lot. You just dip it in, and then you put it on there. Works better than my pin vise. Especially because you can take it and put it right there as well. I'm not going to glue the bottom. No depth perception, guys. I'm not going to glue the bottom yet. When I glue the bottom will be when I clip that off. So, told me the Amish only want walnut trees, so it may become firewood. They had to cut it up in smaller sections because they didn't bring a log skidder in. And they're almost too big to cut now. So there's that first one. And of course, everybody knows what's going to happen is when I go to cut this, I'm going to snap it. I'm going to snap everything and have to start over from scratch. So let's go with the second one in here. So we can now rotate it, hopefully. Those are in there better than they were before. Okay, where are you at? There's the hole. So that one I cut at about 18 mil. Let me just flatten this off a little bit. Thanks, Donnie. No, Donnie, I said depth, not death. I've basically had glasses since I was about 2. So I have no measurable depth perception or depth perception. So I get it straight. Pretty straight except for right there at the end. Let's try this one more time. There we go. So we're going to cut this one about 17.5 mil, right about there. right about there. Set it in there. That one fits a little bit better. Okay. Actually, let's not dip it in the glue. I was about to dip both ends in the glue and get glue myself basically to it. So set it in the bottom first. Slide it into the top area. Push this one up from the bottom. And this time, there it is. Before I hit it with the kicker, I'm going to put some more glue into the pipe here. I'm going to put some here. That actually ran down the brass. I like it. I like it a lot. This one is a little bit off. I'm not going to try and fix it. It's at the angle. Gives a little bit of character. Straight on, it looks perfect. Donnie said that he has glasses and he has good depth perception. Well, the problem is I had surgery when I was about a year old on one of my eyes because it was going places it shouldn't. It was slowly turning around. And so there's no way they could hit it dead on. So my eyes don't aim at the same spot like everybody else's. And to compensate for that, over the years, I have learned to use one eye at a time, which is why I have no depth perception. For the most part, it does not hinder me in my day-to-day life. The only thing it really hindered me throughout my life is I can't be a pilot because I don't have measurable depth perception. But I'm also really, really good at estimating distances. Oh, yeah, had that surgery when I was 4. Yep. Like I said, I was a year and a half old. And don't remember it. They got me glasses around the age of 2 because I kept running into shit. One of the things that I was told I would do is mom or dad would leave and I would go running after them. They would close the door behind them. I didn't see the door and ran full on into it. You do that enough times, you end up like me. Pilot. I is a pirate. Yes, I is a pirate. I would not let you be a pilot because your vision sucks. Same here. I don't know if I would want to be a very Air Force term here, zipper suited sun god. That's what maintainers, or some maintainers, I got that from a boss of mine 30 years ago. maybe it was actually closer to 35, 37. Because, and he called them zipper-suited sun gods because the flight suit has a zipper on it. And they're always, no matter what the weather, fighter pilots are wearing sunglasses. So Paul called them zipper-suited sun gods. Be neat to run into him again, but have not heard from him in almost 30 years. Very, very uncommon name. Millie's last name was insane. It was Millie Kangas. He was one of the good bosses I had over the years on the flight line. Had a few not so good. Most of them were pretty good. Let's see. Catch up on chat. Don said I'm a pirate. They wouldn't let Donnie be a pilot because his vision sucks, and that's where he corrected himself. He wanted to, would have given almost anything to fly an F-15. F-15 would be a cool airplane to fly. F-15 has a real avionics package. I mean, I was an avionics troop by trade, and F-16s, good radar, but the F-15's shortest scope is as long as the F-16's longest scope. And it has a hydraulically driven radar antenna. Where'd my mouse go? There it is. What did they charge you to remove the tree? And were they digging the roots out too? That's because when you get above the clouds, the cloud or sun is still there. I must have said something, not sure what I said, that triggered that comment. I'm like a squirrel when I'm streaming. Or not a squirrel, but a goldfish. It was so 4 seconds ago, and I don't remember it. Although it was funny that the other day, I think I was chatting, I don't remember who I was chatting with. I know I was chatting on Discord. And I saw a squirrel out the window, so I took a picture of it and posted it. Come on. Get in there. Oops, too far. Come on. Okay. Oh, why the pilots wear sunglasses in any weather? Yeah, but they do it inside when there is no weather. Post an F-15 and off topic for Donnie to fly. That's not an F-15. That's a tree. There we go. Donnie can fly this F-15 anytime he wants. And it does say that it's an F-15 underneath. That's kind of funny. Is all in with the stump being ground around 2,800, but insurance should cover most of it. They're just that cool. They are. Welcome, Andrew. Hello. How's it going? Hopefully things are going well on your enterprise. I've seen you've done a lot of work on that thing. It's all coming to a head right now. Oops. Okay, next one. Next. Flatten this out first. Oh, I think it would fly, Donnie. You just would have to drive it off the right spot. It would fly for a couple of seconds. It would fly straight down. Howard said it's an F-15 Farmall. Oops, almost cut that one the wrong way. No, was cutting it the right way and I was turned around. So the way I'm cutting these, I've got the flat side on this side because it gives the flattest surface on there. The side that I cut off of it is not quite as flat. Uh-oh, chat's blowing up. Yes, we are all pulling for you to get that done. Looking forward to seeing it on Friday or Saturday. Donnie, hit bumps hard enough, you'll fly right out of that seat. And you should hear them in road gear. They whine. Okay. Got it stuck to me for a minute there. Come on. Thing kind of reminds me of the up in Wisconsin Dells, they have tour buses that are made into the ducks. Amphibious vehicles. Guess you wouldn't call them tour buses, you would call them tour vehicles. Andrew said third color is done. Weeding masks for the fourth color right now. Very cool. So does his wife. Wait, did I say that out loud? I'm leaving that alone. So many thoughts, so many bad thoughts just came to my head, Donnie. I'm going to leave that alone because I don't need you mad at me or your wife. Okay, and in case anybody's curious, there is nothing at the top for these. These stop on the front and the back at the top of the black posts that hold them. Okay, next one. Rotate it around. Push it down into that hole if I can get it to line up. I could show you guys that, as a matter of fact. Maybe. So right there, you can barely see it. There's a hole in the bottom where the brass rod is going down into. It's a pre-drilled hole. The parts came with those holes already in them. Come on. So close. So close. There. Donnie won't get mad at me, and his wife doesn't watch modeling videos. Okay, so what you're saying is if you ride her hard enough, she whines? Bad buck. If Donnie shows up at Wonderfest with a bandage around his head, we'll know why. Yeah, because she said, "Here, give this to Buck." Whack. No, I think Donnie's wife is probably a lot like my wife. She listens to us a little bit, and she's like, yeah, no, I don't want to be involved in that. Let's see. Let me get the excess off of here. Maybe. It does kind of peel. Okay, don't watch this, guys. I'm not doing this. You didn't see that. Neither Todd nor Jordan are here, so I'm okay. Only reason I say that is it was on a Jordan stream one night that they said that they decided, we're not doing that anymore because it's got cyanide in it. You're burning it, and it's got cyanide. And that was the only time he'd be happy. She was cleaning his gun, and it went off, clipping him in the leg. She had a hard time between laughing and as he wiggled around and tried to call the ambulance. Exactly. Don't breathe in. Might whack you on the head with a skillet. Let's see. Donnie said, don't breathe in. And then he said, breathe. You can't type. Yeah, it releases cyanide gas. You got to wait till Wonderfest to get the maker's mark. Yeah. And it does release cyanide gas, but I think it releases such a minute quantity that it should be okay. And I never, ever breathe that stuff in. It's more, Usually the chemicals I end up breathing in are the fumes from solder because I'm right on top of it when the solder melts. That's going to fit. I don't know if anybody noticed, but the last three, I never double checked to make sure they were going to fit before I put them in place. Donnie's going to come back and say, oh, we noticed. Come on, come on. Let go. That one's not playing nice. There we go. I think I removed the glue from up here mostly. Mostly. And if any of this stuff was really going to affect me, it's too late for me anyway. I used to paint stuff with real zinc chromate. That's what we did in the Air Force. If it was rusty, you painted it with zinc chromate because it made the rust go away. I wasn't going to say that, Buck, but we did. Don't have any maker's mark, but I do have Sexton and Green River. Yeah, all of us. I think just about any of us that did anything industrial that were born anywhere near the 60s or early 70s. So if you were in the workplace in the early to mid to late 80s in an industrial workplace, you dealt with real I lost my mind. Zinc chromate. That's what it was. That's just the way things were. And I'm half of a mind that we've done so much of this getting rid of stuff that is bad for you that we're weakening the race as a rule. And I don't mean any specific color. I mean just the human race in general, because we're doing away with everything that'll kill you. And if you take everything that will kill you away, the first thing that comes in after that will wipe you out. That was the whole premise of H.G. Wells in War of the Worlds when the common cold killed the Martians. They didn't have the cold, so when they came to Earth, the cold was what killed them. Donnie said he works in the paint plant. He doesn't even want to imagine what he probably breathes in. And I agree with Keith. Everything is too sterile today. Take all the warning labels off too. If you lost your mind, better find it before somebody else finds it. Oh no. I want somebody else to find it and them to use it, because that would be entertaining. That would be truly entertaining. Nobody wants my mind, used or otherwise. Let's see. I think That one needs to come down just a hair more. And of course, I pulled it way too far. That's going to have to be shortened a little bit. It's just too much. Squirrel might find it and think it's an acorn. It's not that big. Although the squirrels do go nuts for the acorns in our backyard. Hey, Jeff, welcome. Don said the first thing the new owner would do is buy a stash of models. Absolutely. A huge stash of models. Okay. That should fit now, I think. It's almost perfect. Come on. Stay in there and don't stick to me. Come on. I said don't stick to me. Damn it. Listen when I tell you what not to do. Put a little bit of glue up here on the top as well. That's why Todd never makes my streams anymore. 1, Tuesday is date night. And 2, I use this vile stuff. He hates this. It is not as bad as it could be because I use the liquid form. So let's catch up on chat. Everybody said hey to Jeff. First thing the new owner would do is buy a bunch of goofies. Thank you very much, Jeff. Really appreciate it. And then wonder why they wanted so many. You use testers to glue metal parts? And Donnie said, you can't make my streams because I make them. I've never tried that. Although I do have, you're talking about the red tube, right? I do have the red tube right here, or Gorilla Glue. Well, what I'm using is Loctite. I could also try this stuff from Artesania Latina. It'll be 10 o'clock. He's sleepy. I want to be up in time for OcCre's online workshop tomorrow. Wipe on with brush. Okay. The testers, the intermediate between this, because this is what I used as a kid almost exclusively, and then they came out with the liquid stuff. And now I use mostly on plastic models, I use the Tamiya extra thin. Todd posting no cookies for you. Wait, what? Hang on. I'm looking. Wild turkey. No, he posted no. That's it. No cookies for me. Oh, man. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. No cookies for me. Yeah, a glass jar with a brush. Yeah, and I use super glue because I could use white glue. I use the super glue because I've got a metal to here, let me use this. We've got a metal to wood bond up here. This is a metal to wood bond, and then we've got metal to metal, but painted metal in the middle. And it just, same thing all the way along. Seems to work. Unfortunately, OcCre does not do, or did not, when this train or when the cable car came out, did not do videos. They are now doing videos of their models. And someday I will find a way to get that. What is the latest one they did? I forget what it is. The one they did before I have. But right now I've got too much going on, plus Wonderfest, plus retiring. So that one has to wait. Okay, come on. There. No, because I said you wanted zebra cake. No, I figured the Canadians would bring zebra cakes. Guess I'll have to bring my own cookies. Yep, I will. I do get it on my fingers. Not as bad as I could, but I get a little bit on there. These guys can attest to the fact that every now and then I have glued myself to the model tonight. I am channeling my inner Jordan. It's normally Jordan who glues himself to the models. But Jordan glues himself to plastic models. I glue myself to multimedia models. Ken!
Good evening.
How goes it?
Good. Just finished my appointment.
Cool. I'm disappointed in Todd, by the way.
No zebra cakes?
Yes. Well, no zebra cakes. And because I mentioned zebra cakes, apparently no cookies for me either.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, I know.
You're going to have to buy a bag of Oreos yourself and bring it.
Yep. Well, see, that's the thing is I like sandwich cookies, but I go for the vanilla or the lemon ones more.
I like the maple ones.
Yes, please. Oh, sorry.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Stephen. Hey, Keith. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Dawn. It's good to see you all.
So let me show you what you've missed.
All right.
Look at that.
Ooh. So you got the what do we call those little wooden parts you put on the edge there?
Oh, I've got the I'm just steps, and then I guess they'd be kick panels.
Yeah.
I decided to go just out to, stop at the end.
Yeah.
But Donnie even asked when I started working on these if I was going to glue any of them tonight, and all the grab rails on one side are done.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm working on this third one on this side. I did a little bit of paint touch up. It's been a busy night.
No kidding. Looks like it. You can see all the differences from the last time I saw it.
Yep. Well, and I think it was either Don or Keith. I think it was Don that suggested that I stain these, and then I was like, yeah, let me think. I was thinking that the seats were painted this,
yep.
But they don't really match. They match up here, but not here. Then I realized, I went and grabbed it, and I was like, oh, it's oak stain. And see, it actually
it is.
Yeah.
Now you look like a hardcore smoker again.
Yeah. Do you see? I stained myself.
Yes, and Donnie says a Canadian on the lakes maple. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, I know. And you know, I didn't check this one to make sure it was going to fit. So here we go, figuring out how to get it in there anyway. You know, it's funny because if we were able to, if I had a saleable skill rather than retiring,
Right.
I would have tried to emigrate to Canada at one point.
Okay.
Andrea and I would both love to move up there.
Do you know what province you'd be looking at?
No idea.
How do you feel about winter?
Winter?
Yeah.
Let me think. She's from Austria. I'm from Alaska.
So you'd be fine pretty much anywhere then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny because I remember one time Nicholas he couldn't have been more than like a year old.
Yeah.
When we were driving through Austria in our minivan, and the snow on either side, the snow berms on either side of the road were about 5 foot above the top of the car.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, wait. I can... Stop by sometime and let me know what you think. I don't know that I'm subscribed to you, Jeff.
And Eric's here. He said, "What did I miss?
Everything. I
Or
started out...
What the buck did I miss?
What the buck did you miss? Eric, I started out with a brand new kit. This is as far as I've gotten tonight.
He dropped the last one. It broke pieces everywhere, so he just started over again.
Yep.
Yep.
This is actually one that I would do again. When I bought this one, we lived in California.
Okay.
And I thought the cable cars were the coolest thing ever. And then I found out how they worked, and I thought they were even cooler.
Well, I remember the one episode there where we were talking about it with Todd there, and he had the pictures there of the station, what do they call that? Where it moves the
engine house, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually still on here.
And then where how the car there grabs the cable and.
Oh yeah. Well, no, what Todd showed was the central cable.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Donnie, you don't like winter. If you were to come to Canada and you were gonna move up here, I'd say you'd probably want to go to British Columbia, probably. But the cost of living there is a little high.
Yeah.
But the weather is much nicer. Not a lot of when you do get snow, it's not around for that long. If you don't mind snow, but you want it a little bit warmer, maybe down around Toronto area. East Coast is nice, but they get a lot of snow, lot of storms. Plus, they get the hurricanes and during the hurricane season.
A cool place to live would be Yukon.
Yeah, not a lot of people up there.
No.
The cost of like groceries and stuff can be costly up the further up north you go, because it's all going to be transported in a lot. It's a little bit harder to get in.
Yeah. Well, some of the things about Yukon, the Trail of 98. I've been over the Chilkoot Pass.
Yeah.
And there's that. There's also, and I think it's still the only international forest preserve in the world. I know it was the first, but Kluane up in Yukon, and it's also it encompasses part of the Yukon, part of Tongass National Forest in Alaska.
There is one on the southern border as well of Canada with the U.S. as well. And I'm saying that because I just watched a video on something on Canadian parks that like it was an American reacting to it, and they were talking about all these great parks. And in that video, they did mention that one. I can't remember which one. I think it was one of the ones in Alberta.
Yeah,
Alberta's like our Texas, but you get snow there.
It was kind of funny when we were there, because it was we were. I don't remember if it was when we were moving up or if it was when we were. I think it was. It was when we were moving up that we didn't have enough money to pay for the gas.
Ooh.
Well, it was funny because Dad left me, Mom, my brother, and sister as collateral while he drove up to Tok,
yeah,
to cash a $500 cashier's check that they had. You know, back in '72, that was a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But it was funny because we got to know the people really well. It was a really neat experience, especially when I walked out one time. I don't remember what it was I was doing. You know, I was like 9.
Yeah.
I walked out and I saw one of their. Don't think it was a husky. I don't remember. Might have been a husky, but it was a darker dog, and I, like I said, don't know the breed for sure. But all I saw was this bear over by the woods, and I went back inside. I'm like, "There's a bear out there." Everybody had a good laugh.
I normally think a husky's not as being as dark.
No.
If it's mixed with something, maybe, but. And not saying there are no dark huskies, but I always think of them more the grays and stuff, and the whites with a little bit of black mixed in.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a husky, but it was a darker colored breed.
Yeah.
And it had, the really thick coat like a husky. It's kind of like Apollo when he hasn't had his coat cut down, but brown.
Andrew, yes. Hi, Andrew. That is Tyler Bucket is what he goes by. He's always, I'm just an average, normal American. And he's always learning about Canadian things. He's got alternate channels where he's learning about British things as well and stuff like that. But yeah, the one where he's learning about Canada is Tyler Bucket is the guy I watch.
Ah.
And I'm proud of him because he's learned so much. He's gotten really good at, like when he first started, he didn't know what the, capital of Canada was and, all that sort of thing. Didn't know it was Ottawa. Like a lot of people thought it was Toronto or.
I was going to say Ottawa, but I was I'm not going to make myself look dumb.
No, it's Ottawa. So Toronto was kind of like our New York. It's our largest city.
I just thought of something. The year that we moved up, it's kind of prophetic that Muncho Lake ate the road.
Hey, Jody. He's having a break time. I like your shirts, Jody. They turned out nice.
They did. It might have been Malamute. Matter of fact, just for fun.
That and Jeff said he's been to Toronto and Vancouver. Both really nice, really, really nice cities. Toronto was last time I was there probably about 5 years ago. Vancouver probably a little bit longer, more like 15 years ago.
Oh yeah. The dark Malamute, that's what it was.
There you go.
I mean, the head even looks like a bear's head. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed our time in Canada when we went through in '73. Good God.
Same year I was born.
Well, it was funny because um, mom and dad bought a a Ford Fiesta. Oh, what was it? Had to be in '78.
Yep.
They bought a Ford Fiesta, and my uncle, the one same one I was talking about on Discord the other day, or no, was it on Discord or was it? I don't remember. When I was talking about Uncle Bob, Uncle Bob drove up with mom in the Fiesta, and the Fiesta was not winterized. It was they bought it in Oregon, and so as they came across the pass by Watson Lake, the car is almost dying. It's like 45 below or 50 below as they're going,
Yeah.
going up the Alcan. And mom is nursing the car up over the pass. And my uncle's asleep in the passenger seat. When she crested the pass and started on the way down the other side, she floored it. And that was when Bobby woke up. Bobby woke up and saw the road going by at about 95. And mom said he saw her, she could see him out of the corner of his eyes, and he just kind of sat there and didn't move a muscle because his thought was, told us this too. His thought was, this woman is insane and she's going to kill us. Not being from the northern reaches, he did not realize that when it gets around 45, 50 below, ice is no longer slick. It's now sticky.
Yeah. Keith says he's been to Ottawa and Montreal. Yes, both. Nice places. It's been a number of years since I've been to those.
But have you ever been to Cold Lake?
Yes. Yes, I have. Both when I was in Air Cadets and both when I was in the Army Reserve.
Did you go for Maple Flag?
No. Army Reserve, we were up there for some sort of other exercise. I'm trying to remember. It was like I can't even remember what kind of exercise it was. Because, I was Army, not Air Force or anything, and I was in the artillery, so.
Yeah. Well, I was up there for Maple Flag. And it's funny because Maple Flag is the big thing. The exercise is the big thing every year.
Yep.
I mean,
that's in the summer, right?
No, yeah, actually it is. And they do things that you would not normally find. And to me, this is a very Canadian thing that they had the strip club, the little tables that you would wheel out, and they were in the building set on the outside, family dining. They had the strip club inside the family dining restaurant for 2 weeks out of the year.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and it was funny because they guys were throwing loonies and the whole 9 yards. And this one gal was up there and she was dancing, and one of the guys yells out, "Marry me." And she just, without blinking an eye, shot him down. She said, "Been there, done that, got the t-shirt and sold it."
Yeah. I know. See, I'm trying to think. When I was in Air Cadets, I went there probably 1989. And I was doing the Air Crew Survival course. And the one day, it was like the morning, you could hear they did they scrambled all the jets to take off one morning. Woke us all up. because we weren't too far out into the bush doing the survival portion. And then when I was there with the Army, yeah, the guys all went to the strip club. I was along with them. I didn't find it that exciting. It was like you couldn't really say anything. We were sitting off in a corner, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Well,
I didn't drink then either, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I was the DD, designated driver.
Well, I was the DD as well. That's why I was there, because I had a wife and 4 children, and I was an E4.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't afford to drink while I was TDY.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else? Andrew says it's been a whole week since I was in Ottawa. Yeah, there you go. Went to go get paint, right? And Don said, well, I've been to Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, Winnipeg. That's where I'm from, Winnipeg. Edmonton, Vancouver, and Moncton. Nice. Yeah, see, I've been to all the provinces, but I don't think I'm trying to think if I've been to any of the territories. And a couple of the provinces I went to out east were the maritime provinces, where I think a couple of them were just like the plane landed there. We got off for, layover for an hour or whatever, switch planes or whatever the case was. So really, technically you were there, but you were just at the airport. So
yeah, well, you said got off for an hour or so, and I'm like, instantly what thought popped into my mind was Gander.
Well, we were actually, our final destination was Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny.
Yes, we did go to Gander at one point.
Well, it was funny because we were, it was coming. It was actually, was it the Maple Flag trip? I think it was the Maple Flag trip, and we stopped in Gander to refuel. And Air Force kicks you off the airplane. They will not refuel a plane with anybody on it.
Right.
So we all got off. And when we went inside the terminal, everybody looked at their watch. And they were like,
yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Because Gander is halfway between time zones.
Yep, so, Gander and Newfoundland, Newfoundland and Labrador, or one area, and they're half-hour difference.
So Gander is out in the half hour.
Yeah. Well, we always used to see that listed on television. You know how like they'd say like, this show on at 4 p.m. West Coast, and 8 p.m. East Coast, but it'd be like, on at 8 to 8:30 in Newfoundland.
Yep. Okay.
And Toronto. Andrew's going to be driving through Toronto at around 3:30 a.m. on Friday morning. Right on.
Come on, Andrew. Are you going to be driving, or is the car going to be driving?
Well, he's going to be there, like, to kind of guide it.
Yeah, he's going to be in there in spirit.
Jody went to Ottawa once about 10 years ago. Don forgot about Regina. I lived in Regina for a little bit. I grew up in Saskatchewan, not in Regina, but I did live there for just a little bit over a year. And then also when I went for my RCMP training, that's depot is headquartered in Regina.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. Let me show that. I've been doing that a lot tonight. Let's see.
And Andrew said, just pulled the third color mask off the saucer, pics in Discord. Oh, man, that is looking really nice, Andrew.
Yes.
That is amazing. So now you got to do are you going to get to the phaser ring, you think, before the trip?
Well, I'm wondering, looking at it,
I would assume so because you got to show that off. I would assume for the
the
lighting
engine,
kit.
I take it
Yes.
you've still got a lot to do back here.
Yeah, it looks like the masks are still on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the kind of the very light gray or white.
There we go. We'll only look at this part.
Yeah.
Until it's done. That is very cool.
It is. So yeah, you'll have, and then we'll see how you make out with the unmasking the windows as well. I think you said that might be something still being done at Wonderfest when you first get there.
Yeah. I see the masks on the phaser strips they're not peeling up yet, but they're trying. A little bit here, a little bit
Trying to think what other paint colors he's going to need up there. Little highlighted areas, maybe a couple. I'm trying to think, are there a couple areas with yellow? Do you have to do, Andrew? I'm not too sure. Yeah, I wish I could see it in person. It's amazing.
It is.
And Donnie's even commenting in Discord saying that looks wicked cool.
Yep. So I hate to run as soon as you get here, Ken, but I've hit 2 hours.
Just about, yes.
Yep.
1 hour, 52 minutes.
Blending coat before you add some phasers. Okay. Those are not masks coming up. The phasers have still got to be laid down.
Okay. Oh, is it like a resin piece or something that goes around there, I think, or something, wasn't it?
I think it's resin with LEDs inside it, actually.
I thought the LEDs were underneath.
Yeah. And I know that it's supposed to have the, if I remember right, I know 2 hours isn't the limit. It's just a loose suggestion, but I'm at a good stopping point here.
We could just hang out and talk if people have questions for Andrew or about your build here or places in Canada or my house moose, how my house moose is doing.
How is your house moose doing?
Oh, he's doing pretty good.
Okay, so
he's not a moose on the loose. He's just hanging out.
Andrew says the LEDs are in the saucer. There's a clear phaser array that goes on the top.
Right. And you're going to have to paint the phaser array strip type thing, some sort of light paint color, I'm assuming, so the light will still go through it.
Well, I think on the filming miniature, wasn't it like solid with little windows all the way through?
Well, that's a good question.
I don't know if that's the way the filming miniature was, but I know that that's what I've seen people paint it as.
Right. Well, I just got one of the clear D kits there. What scale is that? 2400? No. It's like the larger one they normally offer from round 2. Got one of those. 1400? Maybe that's it. And somebody's calling me. Well, I don't know who you are, so I'm not going to answer. Donnie says he thinks it's 1400. I want to get the from Lake Monster Detail, the Nebula conversion for it. So that way you're really only using the saucer, so to speak, and the nacelles, really, and that's about it.
I need to get some paint on this. I need to do that actually this weekend. Ooh.
Well, this weekend you're going to be at Wonderfest.
Well, okay. Next week. I'm just looking at this. I don't know that I can actually get it to show. I may have to try something. me see if I can get it to.
Oh, you may be right, Don. Maybe it was Tony calling me, telling me it's time to get off the stream. As long as you're
Can't
not
really see
telling
it.
me to go upstairs and go to bed, well, that'd be a little awkward then.
Let's see. Let me try this one. Yeah, it's not going to focus on it. But right behind these strips,
Yeah.
you can actually see, I can, where the connection points are, where it wasn't painted. And I think instead of trying to paint black back there, I'm going to see, I might just slide another piece in behind there.
Okay. Jody says it's too bad you couldn't get figures that look like the HDMI guys or HDM guys.
Yeah. It would be kind of cool. Donnie needs to 3D print me some.
Yep.
Because I've got every one of the trains.
Just do the 132nd Enterprise TOS Enterprise bridge kit and make each HDM member part of the crew.
I do have a few of those, like 3 or 4 of the bridge kits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kits like that are why everybody says I have 2 or 3 of every kit.
Yeah. Some of the ones I have are a bit more like I had 2 of the Tamiya F-14s, so I sent one to Jordan. I have and those are 148th ones. I have 2 132nd Tamiya F-15s.
Well, back a couple of years ago, first Secret Santa I was involved in.
Yep.
Shu received one of my, at the time, 5. What is it? Klingon Bird of Prey kits.
Okay. I'm still tempted to send Andrew a Bandai Star Destroyer because I have 2 of those, the ones with the lights.
Cool.
They're the smaller type ones. They're not huge like the one Jordan built, but they're not the super small ones either.
Yeah, something to keep Andrew occupied for a week.
Exactly. That way he'll have another Star Wars kit.
Yes.
Like a good one.
Okay, so
not saying he needs to build it right away, but at least he'll have it.
They say 8 millimeters for this. So I'm going to do 10 because I'm going to have to sand it a little bit.
Jody wants to be Spock. I call Spock. Wouldn't that be Todd? Because you can't be Riker because, this is TOS we're talking. And Todd's pretty tall. Spock was tall. If you're Jody LaForgery, that would make you an engineer, so you could be Scotty.
No. We're doing we're doing Spaceballs here. He's going to be Snotty.
Snotty. Makes me think of not Spaceballs, but Donnie's like, I get to be Kirk. Oh, you're the small one, Donnie. So, it'd be a toss up between you and Andrew. Who gets to be a Chekhov?
One is Chekhov, the other is Sulu.
Yeah.
What was funny was back when I was a kid,
mm-hmm.
we would actually play Star Trek, and I was always Spock.
There you go. Was it because you could do the Vulcan salute?
A little bit of that, a little bit because I was more stoic than most people.
Oh, there you go. Donnie's like, sweet, I get to look for nuclear vessels.
An admiral. It's the Enterprise.
You get to see lines like, guess who's coming to dinner?
Take a note. No Romulan ale at diplomatic functions.
Yes.
Let's go see if there's anything else we can screw up tonight.
Okay, 2 hours. Get everybody good night and stream.
But I'm still gluing. I'm actually making the bells that are on top. The bells that are part of the intro is what I'm making right now.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't mind modding one of those bridge kits, and actually doing it where it's almost like a hybrid of from the motion picture type eras, like from Star Trek 1 or 2 or whatever, and the TOS, where it's kind of got TOS stylings, but like have two turbo lifts on either side at the back, that sort of thing.
Sorry, concentrating. Trying to make sure this is as straight as possible.
Jody says, I could be Scotty. I'm giving her all she's got. If I push it any harder, the whole thing will blow. I can't do a Scotty accent. I apologize.
Mr. Scott, do you always multiply your repair estimates by a factor of 3? Of course, Admiral. How else could I be known as a miracle worker?
Yep.
All right. So we are going to end it here. I've got these now drying. I got to paint a bunch of stuff. Probably I should work on this tomorrow just so that I've got stuff done for it for next week.
Yeah.
Because it's getting really, really close to being done.
Oh, right on.
And the funny thing is, the closer it gets, the more I go, oh, I could still do that. And I do, hindsight being 2020, I kind of wish I'd left the windows in there. You know which ones I'm talking about.
Oh, those ones. Yes.
These ones.
Yeah.
While I was working on it one stream, nothing was working. I was trying to get it in here, and the windows were exactly where they were supposed to be, but the framework inside does not support those windows being there. And so I'm like, no, I ain't fighting with this, and I ripped them out. So
now you want them back.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I mean, if you really wanted, you could test out doing the canopy glue windows.
Yeah, but those are big holes for canopy glue windows.
You can still do big holes with canopy glue.
Yeah. So appreciate everybody coming by. Appreciate you stopping in, Ken.
Oh, thanks for letting me come in.
Oh, absolutely. You are always welcome, sir. And hopefully you'll make it tomorrow as well.
I hope to. Should be continuing on my book nook now that I got most of the first level done.
Very cool. Keith is right. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. So, like I said, appreciate everybody coming by. Hit the like button on the way out. If you're not already a member, please go ahead or if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Doesn't hurt. It's free. Thanks, Eric. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And we will see you on the next video or stream.